Let the bodies hit the floor. 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 Let's go. I can't fucking hear you.
Today on My Behind the Music, we're joined by a guitarist who helped shape the sound of modern heavy rock. He's a founding member of Drowning Pool, the band behind iconic anthem Bodies, and a musician who's carried that legacy forward through every chapter of the band's journey. From the platinum debut Sinner to the emotional weight of Strike a Nerve, and now into a new era with fresh singles and a new album on the horizon, CJ Pierce has been the backbone of Drowning Pool's riffs, tone, and energy for more than 2 decades. They're going to dive into the story behind the music, the beginnings, the triumphs, the struggles, and what's next for both CJ and Drowning Pool. It's an honor to have you here, CJ. Welcome.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, man. So I'm going to get right into this. What was your first real aha moment on the guitar? Like, what really inspired you to want to pick up the guitar?
Yeah, I grew up in New Orleans, around jazz and blues and all kinds of music. My dad played bass and sang in a band, and they would rehearse in the living room. So as a child, just growing up in music, that's all I've ever known. There was always a party at the house on the weekend. My dad was always jamming. So I've always had a love for music. I gravitated towards the guitar early on. Some of the first stuff that I would listen to because of my dad was Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin.
Oh, yeah.
So, I always, Jimmy Page was a big one for me for as far as like starting out with music. And of course, like jazz and blues and, going to Mardi Gras every year. And it's just an awesome funk Mardi Gras songs. Like a band like the Meters, that was background band for James Brown, did a lot of songs back then. Yeah. That are like Mardi Gras theme songs. And that really got me into it. So I definitely have a lot of funk roots, if you will, jazz and funk roots. But again, coming up, especially in the 80s, man, when metal really took off, Metallica, one of my favorite bands ever, yeah. Testament, Alice Skolnick is another, huge influence on me. Not to mention, you mentioned earlier, man, I mean, dude, some of the greats. Yeah. Dude, I mean, the list goes on forever.
I interviewed Alex too,
We did? Oh, man, yeah. He's my favorite.
Dude, he's getting into like jazz and stuff like that. He studied jazz in one of the schools in New York, and
right.
He's really big time into it and like kind of incorporating that whole jazz.
I think that's maybe why I gravitated towards him, because the first time I ever heard him was, New Order, the first record, Testament, or at least the first one that I got. And it was just amazing, his style. Because a lot of guitar players, around that time too, you can tell some of them classically trained and brought that into metal. But as far as like jazz or funk and blues, I just, for some reason, Alec, I did see him play with this Alec, the jazz trio that he had at the NAMM convention, and dude, it was sick. I've met him a few times, and I try not to fanboy out on him because he is one of my biggest influence. But it's always cool to see him and meet him. I'm just, he's just a sick player. He's definitely on my top list of influences. Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page, Alice Skolnick, right there, man.
Them are obviously some of the players that really influenced and helped shape your style. Your style is different from the whole 80s thing, which I admire because, with all that, neoclassical stuff going on back then and, that whole genre or whatever, you kind of stepped outside the box with your own thing, and I think it what they define it as would be like industrial metal.
Yeah, I was into industrial bands, Ministry and stuff like that. In fact, we played with Ministry recently too, and I just forgot how many songs I knew. I knew every song in the freaking set because that was a big, Nine Inch Nails, Ministry. That was a big part of my influence. That was in there as well. I guess some of that does come through in our songs. But man, it's like anything like you're a player as well. You just focus on playing what you feel. At least that's what I try to do. Just your influence. There's a lot of great bands out there, and I know when we all get started younger, we tend to mimic bands, but when you come out into your own, to who you really are, man, just, take all that influence that you have, that big blender mixing pot, and play what you feel and draw from all that. So I feel like I have an equal amount of a little bit of Tony Sacheri spices of all my favorite players within the stuff that I write on my own.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's awesome, man. So what was the Dallas, Texas rock scene like when Drowning Pool was forming? which
Man, the scene was amazing. Again, Mike Lewis, our drummer, Mike Lewis and myself, we grew up in New Orleans. We're all friends in high school. Mike had a year or two in high school in Dallas where he met Stevie Benton, our bass player. And then when Mike moved back to New Orleans after high school, him and I started trying to get bands together. Couldn't find the right singer and bass player. And Stevie was, getting together with some bands and had kind of some early workings of Drowning Pool. So something happened. It was 95 or 1996, and the drummer that Stevie was working with couldn't make the show. So Mike came up on the fly and just filled in on a set. And he came back to me. He's like, bro, the Dallas scene is in sick. Pantera coming out of here. And Pantera is also a New Orleans, Dallas mix. There's just some kind of rock and roll love connection going on with that, with these cities. Mike and I moved here in 96 and got together. And then we got shortly thereafter got Dave Williams in the band. And that's when everything started happening for us. But the scene was great, dude. The scene's still great here. To be a local band and get to that point where you're selling out clubs locally and you're on the local show with the radio's spinning your demos back in the late 90s. That was a pretty big step for us to get to where we're at now, for sure.
were you influenced by Pantera?
And it was not influenced by Pantera. We do. Dimebag. He was one of the few. I've had this conversation with somebody before. It's only been once or twice where it's like you heard something and it kind of almost made you want to put the guitar down and be like, all right, they got it. But, I took it more of his influence and try to bury myself as well. But, dude, when Cowboys from Hell came out, oh, my God, it was life-changing. And then to become friends with Diamond and to tour with them later on in my career was just another dream come true. It's like he's one of your, your big idols, influences. The next thing you know, you're friends with him. You're at his house, barbecuing and stuff, back, obviously before tragedy struck, but such a great player, man. And I love that Pantera is still touring now with Zach Wild. He's up there keeping it alive. I mean, nobody's going to be Don, nobody's going to be Benny, of course, but to be at these shows and see the young fans experience it that never got to see Pantera before, it sounds amazing. I think they're doing great things.
I agree with you. I think Zach's a good replacement because, him and Dine were, to my understanding, pretty close,
Yeah, man, we were all tight.
And, Zach's a great player, but, I think it's more of an honor, it's honoring them, and
Yeah,
not
it's
trying
honoring
to really take over where they left off. I don't know what their plans are, but I'm glad that they're doing it, honestly.
Yeah, dude, it's great. I've seen maybe 5 shows already, 5 or 6 shows. I've been to so.
Now, when the band first came together, what was the chemistry what chemistry made it click? I think you talked a little bit about, some of the guys you came over in 96 and you knew one of the guys.
Yeah, we're all friends in high school. Came together, like I said, Stevie kind of had some early workings of Drowning Pool, but it was really once Mike and Stevie got here, there was a time stamp where it was just us 3 in the room jamming together and just came up with the early sounds and music and some lyrics and stuff like that for the Center record. It was once we had Dave Williams join the band that really took off, man. Everybody knew Dave around town. He played in several bands and he played in cover bands. He was great in cover bands. So he definitely had a wide range and amazing rock voice, but something just happened when we joined forces, man. When he started singing with us, it was like immediately we just clicked, man. We're just having fun with it, man. That's what it's all about. And people ask about when we wrote Let the Bodies Hit the Floor, it's we were just, again, in the rehearsal room having fun, having some beers, writing music that we enjoy writing together. It wasn't like some kind of mad scientist thought behind it. It was just having fun with it. And that comes through in the music. And that song's still working for us, man. It's pretty wild. We're 25 years later. And, we still kicking ass and having fun. I love playing that song every
How did you personally help shape the sound that became Sinner? You just said that it was all like fun. You guys were just jamming and it just kind of came together.
Yeah, we had a lot of different styles in the pod. When Mike and I got together, because I was playing and I was also kind of, at that age, you kind of explored. You play in several different bands, and you're just trying to find the right group of guys to go with. I was doing some funk stuff, like in a funk band, and I was doing some like heavy grindcore stuff in a band called Flesh Parade. And then it was late '90s. I mean, you had Alice in Chains and Soundgarden and bands like that were heavily influenced with like Stevie and Mike as well. So there was a lot of different styles in that pod when we got started, and we just gravitated. We just kind of developed our own with it. I was going to go through, man. I got a whole bunch of, just clean out my storage. I have a whole bunch of tapes, all the rehearsal room tapes and cassettes. I have this whole box of that I like to go through because we had a lot of songs that we never recorded with Dave that are just, again, some stuff is left field and right field, some stuff super crazy heavy. Some of it's way more funky. You can see more of that wide variety before we kind of honed in on what became the Center record back then. But
That's
yeah, man,
awesome.
you know, it's like brotherly. Dude, I can't believe I'm still playing the band with my friends since high school. Here we are, like, you know, 25 years later.
That's good chemistry. It's hard to find that chemistry and make it last that long.
Definitely. Yeah.
The longest I've ever lasted in a band was like 5 years. People start getting into their own personal shit and start bringing that into it, and it gets
Right.
difficult. So kudos to you guys for being able to do this for so long.
Yeah, you get hit with a lot of stuff, not just the personal side of things, and then with us, the business side of things. There's a lot of things, and I do this to myself. I actually did this the other day, and I would like to just say that to everybody out there, especially musicians that have been in it for a long time, because that business, man, can drag you down, personal things, and you start to forget or lose that natural passion that you just want to play. Like I went out and sat in my backyard the other day. It's 100 degrees in Texas. I don't care. I needed to play my guitar. Put the phone down, put the computer down, emails down, a lot of stuff going on with the personal life, car wreck, whatever. It's like, I'm going to sit out here and play my guitar. And I wrote so much stuff in like 15 minutes. So just remind yourself, go back to like square one, like, hone in on what you love about it and keep that passion going. Cause I think that's what's helped us keep going with Drowning Pool. Just the love for music and the love to perform. Everything else that comes with it. It's a lot that comes with it, like, man, that
Yeah.
you weed through, but never forget that foundation and that passion.
Yeah, that's a great attitude, man. You got to remember why you started playing in the first place, because you can start getting sidetracked.
Yeah, man. That's the business side, man. I could write 5 books on that thing, man. They just come in waves, like past labels and past management. And there's been some good people we met along the way. Dude, I mean, it's just insane how the business is against you in every way, shape, or form. It's show business, ain't no show friends over there. People you think of friends for 25 years. But I'm not going down a negative path. I'm coming back to the positive where, I just had to sit down and play your instrument, whether it's guitar, bass, drums, or whatever, you gravitate towards. I play a lot of everything now, but I definitely started on guitar, and that's my main go-to for everything.
It's good to play different instruments too, because you get a feel for everything and how it's all put together.
Yeah, definitely now with the producing side of stuff, just have yourself in everybody's mind frame of where they fit within the song. But it's so cool, again, with us playing the band together with Mike, Stevie, and myself, not to get sidetracked, but we know each other so well. So writing becomes easier because I know if I do this, you're probably gonna do that, or if I come up with this part, you might do the drums like that, and vice versa. So it's become more enjoyable and easier to have like a thought and idea, like, man, we want to write something about this, and we get in a room and just kind of knock it out. That's another thing that comes with time.
Yeah, it comes with experience, And so, are you guys recording the stuff yourself, or are you going into a professional studio?
We do a little bit of both. We've been working with a guy named Sean McGee, which is awesome. We did the last record, Striking Nerve, with him, and we're doing a lot of songs now. But he's in Vegas, and Ryan lives in the UK. So when Ryan comes, he actually stays here and sleeps like right here in my studio. So we've been doing a lot more tracking and recording ourselves lately. I'm still working with Sean, and we'd have Sean put everything together. But these last few songs that we're finishing up, we've pretty much been doing everything here at my house. It's just time and convenience. And then Sean will, finish cleaning up stuff and mixing it. So, but we're definitely doing more self-producing more now than ever before.
Yeah. So what are you working with, like Pro Tools or?
Yeah, I got the Pro Tools set up here. I got amps over here. I got the ISO booth. Everything's isolated in this cabinet. I got all the stuff we need, man. All the pro gear, all the right tools and technology. But yeah, we're full Pro Tools.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier these days, right? Recording, instead of having like a 4-track or a 24-track or whatever, and having to cut and splice the tape and shit like that.
Yeah, it's a whole new art to it, man. I love it. I'm back in go mode right now, so it's as soon as I get off the phone with you, I'm gonna finish working on stuff. I had everybody in here singing the other day, which is another fun thing for us because we sing a lot more now together. And when it calls for it, it's just cool to have all 4 of us in here working together. Again, we're rock band or metal band. It's not a doo-wop thing, but it's still, it's nice to see where we all fit vocally to make something sound full. And again, we record analogs as much as we can, and then dump it into Pro Tools to edit. If I could get a 2-inch tape and do drums like that again, I would. But the drums sound great nowadays, going right into the box. Yeah. But the guitars are still mic'd, though. The guitars and bass, man, we mic those cabs. It's they got great stuff, plugins, but I'm old school, man. It's tubes and microphones, man.
I'm using a Marshall. I have a Marshall half stack ABT 2000 right now. So, I like cranking that up and, getting the sound from that. And then,
That's great, man.
yeah,
Those sound awesome. I was thinking about getting one of those. I have the 900s is what I've been going to, and I've
oh,
been
yeah,
eyeballing this 800 that's modded because I used that modded 800 on the center record, and it just those 800s when you put electric juice on it, man, they just have that rock tone, that sound.
yeah. I think they actually sound better than what I have, the 800s and the 900s, honestly, but I've also got a lot of plugins too that I've been using. Like when I was talking to Alex Skolnick, he's got like an endorsement with IK Multimedia. Like,
Yeah, I got the
I've been
same
check-
thing, man. That's
yeah,
exactly what I use.
I've been checking that shit out too, and it comes in handy, when you just like recording some cool riffs or whatever. But
Yeah, I do demo stuff in the box,
yeah,
and then when I lay it down for real, I use the real amps. But there's been
yeah,
times, the parts where the in the box sounded great. If it's background candy, something like that, I'll keep it. But any main stuff, solos and rhythms, man, it's just me, man. Even though it sounds great, and I AB the inside the box and outside, I just like playing through amps, man, and putting
yeah.
mics on it. But that's what we do live too, and apparently that's less and less. So I don't know if that just means I'm getting older, or if it's just a rarity thing. I mean,
It's a preference, It's just
yeah, it's a preference.
like a preference because it sounds good, and plus when you play live, it's going to sound exactly,
Exactly.
same, right? So that's awesome, dude. So do you remember the first time you realized Bodies was about to explode?
The first time I realized it was going to explode, we all hope for our music and our art to get out there in the world. We all thought it was going to be Tearaway before Bodies, just because locally we had our demo version of Tearaway got played on 97 on the Eagle here in town. It was cool too, like playing shows again, just local shows. And my mom came out, she's like, "Oh, I really like this Let the Bodies Hit the Floor song." You're hearing shit like that. But it wasn't right after it came out. Right before, or right when we started the Ozfest 2001, it was like within 2 weeks of my life, we went from just nobody knew you were a local band till you walk out the door and like everybody, the song was just there. It was on MTV, as the Buzz Clip video, and it was on. We did wrestling, we got the WrestleMania 18 and stuff like that. And next thing you know, it was just everywhere, and it's still happening now, man. I'm eternally grateful and thankful again just to have to have your art out there. But it's a fun song, man. Like I've heard a lot of covers of it, and people doing parodies of it, and I think it's cool, man, because I sit around the house and I still just have fun with my own song, man. I have like 10 other parodies of Bodies that I did on my own that my wife's like, you should record that and release it just for fun. So
you should. You should. That had to be an interesting experience, I mean, going from like a nobody to something everybody knows who you are, and that transition, nobody really prepares you for that. It's not like you have a guidebook on saying this, what you're going to deal with.
Well, I feel like we've always stayed pretty humble. I know I was, at the time it was like woohoo party. I was a happy drunk, so that helped too at the time. But yeah, dude, nothing prepares you for that. And again, it's more so just people enjoying the music for us and for me than anything. I mean, I love putting on a show. We just did all these tours. We just did these amazing. We're breaking back into Europe and did all the Euro festivals this past year, and it's just to see everybody go nuts and crazy for rock and roll, man. It's just it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie.
That's awesome that again, you guys are still doing this after 25 years or whatever. I mean, that's longevity, and you don't see that much anymore. Like,
I don't see that with the full band. Unfortunately, like when David passed away from heart disease in 2002. We've done a lot of records and worked with a lot of great people since then, and keep Dave's alive, especially with the anniversary record coming up, 25 years. So he's always right here in the mix with us.
So he died of heart disease.
He had heart disease. He had cardiomyopathy of the left ventricle, is the technical term. And I feel like, dude, I hear it's like anybody. If you're on tour and you're a rock band, you pass away, you instantly go to drugs and stuff like that. I know that's, I would assume that as anybody else would, but with Dave, that wasn't the case. We had my brother-in-law passed away at 30 for the same exact thing. I don't know why 30 was the magic number for that, but I've experienced it twice. It's not an uncommon thing, but it wasn't any, man, he didn't get bitten by a snake or something. Man, I heard all kinds of crazy stories about Dave, dude. So I just would send this record straight because it is what it is, cardiomyopathy of the left ventricle.
So how do riffs usually come to you? like a rhythm, the melody, or just happy accidents?
It's, I just love playing. So I'd say for the most part, the most common part is that and it happens a lot out on tour as well. Like just playing, just rocking out. I love coming off stage after a show or later that night on the bus and writing, or just playing after a show, because you still have that adrenaline rush.
Oh yeah,
intensity from the show. So I find myself writing more a lot on tour after the shows or at night, not every single night, but when you're inspired and everything's in the right place. And then I'll come home and put that together as a song. But just sitting here around the house, like I was saying the other day, man, it was Monday, and it's that Monday, and the calls are coming in, everything's just compounding. It's like I'm just gonna shut everything off and go play my guitar for a few minutes and just go to the quiet place. And I wrote a bunch of stuff then, which was cool. So it kind of just comes like that natural. In the last few years, this has happened to me two to three different times where and I've always heard these stories and read about this, where a whole song comes to you like instantly, like it was almost written and done. So I've had that happen to me. And it's cool when that happens too. You just grab a guitar and you just start playing, and it just feels natural. And the lyrics come out, because I tend to write a lot of lyrics along with when I write the guitar riffs. Not that we always use that. I always love the singer to come in and have his first shot at singing and vocal melody. I don't want to put that in his head, if you will, but I always tend to write all that along with the song. And also, just the evolution of Drowning Pool. All of us write a lot more now. CV brings a lot to the table as well. So does Mike. So we all tend to take that same approach. We kind of throw the royalties on the table and get everybody the chance to do their parts on it. And then once we get down to perfection mode, it's like, well, I also had this in mind when I came up with it, or I had that in mind. And again, that's, the communication we have, and songs tend to come together, pretty fast when we're here doing it. We've been doing a lot of touring lately, so we haven't been able to be at home, but I'm at home the next few weeks, and I'm in go mode for writing right now.
Awesome, man. And that's a good way of doing that too, without giving the singer any preconceived notion of how the song's supposed to go or whatever, and let him, add himself into it. Because I've dealt with singers before, and if you write the lyrics, whatever, they can't really relate to it.
Right, they don't feel it. It doesn't come out the same. You're right. You rather them come out because they're singing it, man, and they need to feel it. And even if the lyrics aren't there and the melody's there, that's their style. Brian's been a lot better now lately. We have been writing together. I think with all singers or anybody, it's like, I want to do my part, of course, and here's your chance to do your part. And we're good enough. I think where it's like, well, I'm kind of missing something here. What do you have? And then add that in. So it's again, we have the best working relationship we've ever had. I'm looking forward to getting the music out, because it's genuine. Everybody's feeling their parts and doing what they want to do to it. I know a lot of people are songwriters and they have a band hired, or you have the one main dude in the band, but we try to keep it, with Drowning Pool, we try to keep it us four, because I feel like you just said, it comes out through the music, comes out in the live show, that everybody's a part of every song.
Yeah, that's important, man. Yeah. So what balance do you strike between technical skill and just raw energy?
Yeah, there's a balance there. Drowning Pool, is not known as much for like the shredder. I have some shredding when I can get it in there, solos. But again, I try to write for the song, so I don't want to be like here's a song and then just rip and lead out of nowhere. But I do love, like we talked about, Alex Skolnick being one of my favorites in bands like that. I stay up on my chops. I stay up on everything for when the moment calls, and also, like great Dimebag Darrell, there's been once or twice you've been asked to come on stage and play Walk or Cowboys from Hell. So I want to make sure I do it justice to show the fans what Dime did. So I stay up on the chops. But for us, man, when it comes down to writing, it's just raw energy. I just rock it out and just play what you feel. And then bring in the technical stuff later, if you will.
Yeah. Like after the fact, maybe if it calls for it.
If it calls for it. But I do stay up on the chops, man, because I've been put on the spot once or twice. And I've done some clinics too. I think I might go back to that. That was fun, going to music stores and just showing, everybody's got their own way of doing things. And a lot of stuff comes with the warm-ups, man. A lot, just everybody has their, hanging out with Dime back in the day and Zach Wild, and seeing what their go-to warm-ups are to get them up to speed to what they're doing. So it's cool to show that, what I know from them, and then do what works for me, might work for you. Because I did lessons for a little while, man. It was great to do that, connect with students, but we've been touring so much lately. I just don't have the time. I'm not at home anymore to stay on that.
That's good though. I mean, if you're that busy, touring, I mean, that's what it's all about, that getting your music out there, sharing it as an artist. It's fun to teach, but that gets kind of lame too,
Yeah. It's great to do that, but we're here to do our own thing, man. I'm here to play my songs.
Yeah, the thing with teaching though, it makes you really think about it. You really have to think about what it is that you do, though. You know, you have to analyze it to be able to explain it. So it makes you sometimes really, um, you know, more insightful on what you're doing. You know.
Yeah, the fundamental is going back to that, which was simple to us now. We take for granted. It's like when you're starting back at the basics and you're real slow with somebody. It's like you're right. It makes you like stay more focused on what you do.
And exactly how you do it or how you approach it or whatever. But do you have any particular specific warm up routines that you follow? Is it start with mental stretching?
Yeah, I have a couple of ones. I keep bringing my wife. My wife sings and plays together. We also have a band together, but she's always, why does this keep going off, man? I'm sorry.
No, I see it still.
You see, okay. Yeah, she, there's certain, I guess, go-to ones that are my standard ones. She would know better than that. She's like, yeah, you do that one a lot, but then there's other ones you go off the beaten path. I try to mix it up, alternate picking, hammer-on picking. There's a lot of cool stuff. Like I said, with Dimebag, he would just do a lot of hammer-on stuff, where with Zach Wild, he would alternate pick. And again, just back in the day, I did play in a jazz band. I didn't, I took a year as in college, did like grade school stuff. And I did play in the Delgado Jazz Band, and there was like a year of jazz classes during that time. So there's a lot of cool fundamental things. I had a teacher that didn't play with a pick. He would make you alternate pick with your right hand as you're picking with the left hand. So it's all finger picking, and it's really smooth when you get that rhythm down. I've been playing with my hand with like Lindsey Buckingham, man. I'm a huge, Fleetwood Mac fan as well. I got young kids and that's their starter songs. I got a bunch of girls and they all love Fleetwood Mac. So we're here playing Fleetwood Mac songs with them. But Lindsey Buckingham used his hands. He never had a pick, dude. That's another thing. I think that helps with the connection with the brain. You just feel closer to the guitar, for me.
Is that what you're doing now? I mean, do you most generally not use a pick anymore?
Lately, I've been using the fingers a lot more without the pick. But, we do some heavy songs and some
you have to chug, right?
I've still got to chug down on it, but now it's fun because they're just exploring different things you wouldn't do and see what that applies to. I also realize not everything I do and write and play is going to be for Drown and Pool. For every 5 or 10 ideas I come with, one of them will work for Drown and Pool as well. So it's also knowing that and recognizing that. I've been asking to do solo records and other stuff like that. Maybe someday if I had the time. I mean, it's all things Drown and Pool, but I definitely have a lot of other stuff in different styles. Like you mentioned, Joe Satriani too, man. One of the biggest influences.
Yeah.
Records like that where it's just all, guitar. It's just all guitar melody without singing. And I would love to do something, I'm never going to be at that level of those guys, but it's still, I have my style and way of doing things. And I love just full on, just guitar or solo records like that.
Yeah. You and I both, man. I was thinking about what you were talking about with Dimebag, with the legato, hammer-ons and stuff like that, warming up that way. And for me, like I've always been drawn to the hammer-ons and stuff like that, and the legato playing because it gives you, it's the strength in your fingers, in your hand.
Oh, definitely.
And the stronger that your hand is, the more control that you have, And once you get that strength, at least for me, this is my philosophy when I was growing up,
Yeah.
As long as my hands were strong, then I could play anything.
Yeah, man, that's right.
I would take like a scale and I go up like 3 and then back down and then up 4 and back down and then up 5. You know what I mean? It just keep going up the scale. Yeah. And I got that idea actually from learning a lot of Joe Satriani stuff.
Right. Yeah. Dude, he's sick, man.
Yeah, because he uses a lot of legato stuff and, like combining scales and stuff like that. I'm left-handed, by the way, so that's why I keep doing this.
Oh, yeah, look, I always tell my lady, can I hear a guitar? Because I know what I'm playing. She's like, no, it's still not cool. But I know the notes. I'm hitting them in there, but I know what the notes are now. No air guitar at this show. I'm still going to do it anyway.
I went to Musicians Institute also in California. So,
really, dude? Oh man, that was the dream of mine growing up in New Orleans. I never made it to like a big school like that. I had like just independent stuff and
you can still go to something like that because now they're offering classes online.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, at your convenience. You can do that. I saw Berkeley's doing it now too.
Really? I might look into that. I mean, I'm 52, and you always learn new stuff. The guitar to me, I'm always learning something new on it. It never ends for me. It's like there's always something cool, or chords or just something else you never tried before. It's the never ending freaking toy for me, man. So I'm never too old to learn something new, man. And I don't claim to know everything. That's for damn sure. So I might look into that, dude. Thanks.
Yeah. You brought up earlier that you could probably teach a whole class on that yourself.
Man, I can teach you on the past 20 years of what the business was like and what happens to you. I mean, it's changing, and I'm learning as we go, because we self-manage now and I'm the point person in the band. So the last 2 years since we've been like this, I've definitely been thrown into that driver's seat of the business, the curve now. But you're right, man. I would love to give classes on that, especially with bands, upcoming bands, because just to look out for things. It's a different story and a different way to get there for everybody. I mean, our songs out there, people know that Device at the Floor, the label did work for us in that respects, but they also had a creative accounting and just this endless, bottomless pit of recoup probably every single dinner that they ever had and everything that they ever bought, millions of dollars of recoup and things like that you didn't know to look for the fine print. Because here I am, I have a song everybody knows that I'm in a rental house. I don't have no big mansion, but I have sold millions of records. So I would love to tell the story and teach that to young adults coming up playing music of what not to do. Yeah.
I think that you could probably, sit in as like a guest speaker or something. They have people like that come in all the time, musicians.
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to tell, I mean, again, I'm all about the balance and even Stevens. That's why I always tell them, like the business manager we have now, like whatever's right and even pay for whatever's right and even. We're all here to do this together on planet Earth. I'm not trying to get over anybody, but we've gotten over on a lot by people. So just the red flags to look for. And I'm still chasing my tail on this stuff. Some stuff came up earlier today, man, but I'm just trying to right all the wrongs and have smooth sailing from here on out.
How has your tone in reg evolved since the early days, or are you just still using the same reg?
I'm going through several different things, and you know what? Let me see why this keeps doing this. It's killing me right now. There you go. I think I stopped it. Sorry. And then we're back. I think I did a big full circle, if you will. I mean, I started out, with just, as a young child with what you could afford, which was crate amps and stuff like that. I still have my first crate head and cabinet. But, I got into Digitech. I was really big, and I'm still into Digitech products. I did Digitech. I was the 128. I was the 128, and then it was the 256 or whatever after that. So I've always been into that for the effects. And then the 2101 came out, and that just changed my life. And at the time, it was still an early version, with the distortion in the box type stuff, but it wasn't there yet. But I liked it so much that when I started out, I had these two Mason Boogie 300 watt Coliseum 2 power amps, and I was running everything out of my 2101. But when we recorded this center record, I used that modded 800 Marshall. And then, every time we do a fly out show or we do, stuff on the fly, rental gear always has Marshall 900s. Like, it's just everywhere. So that kind of was my tone anyway with the center record. So because we did so much stuff fly and the rental gear is always 900, it's just, that's what I developed into. So I've always, pretty much stuck with, I've been Marshall guy since day one. I do have Masons. I have Bad Cat. I have custom 72 coupes. I was on those for a minute. Those things sound awesome. But my go-to tone with Drowning Pool is definitely the Marshall, the 900, and anything, all Digitech. I have the 1101 rack. That's the smaller one, but I don't think they're making Digitech stuff right now. I have to look into that. But I have a lot. I always get like 2 or 3 of everything for touring to have a backup rig, a big B rig. So I definitely have a lot of Digitech. So that's me, man. I do like having effects in it a lot just to add to the song, not so much as like a cover up. I'll write a song and a riff first and then see, to add a little color to a little flange, a little phaser. But I definitely, on that first record, man, I was definitely a wah pedal junkie and just all things phaser, man, phaser, flanger on everything.
It's like Kirk Hammett on every guitar solo.
Yeah, every guitar solo's got that wah pedal on, and I try not to be that. In fact, I don't feel the wah pedal on every solo. I have it on some, but I kind of like doing it without it, honestly. Dude, when I get guitar solos, when I just put my guy, oh, here it is. This is my go-to right here. I'm sure you on it, but right here, man. Always ready to go. I'm kick that sucker on when I do solos. And this TV right here too, man.
Guilty of the same shit.
I love that tube screamer, man. It just brings that solo out to the front.
That's old school, right?
Yeah, super old school, man.
Yeah, I remember using one of those way back when I was like 16,
Yeah, but I've tried a lot of stuff since then, and I just for me, I mean, that thing just man, it just gives like you do single notes high on the high string, and it just sound like huge and like ballsy. It just brings it to life, man. I don't know. So yeah, it's on every one of my solos, Tube Screamer since day one, and I still.
Dude, it's awesome, man.
So again, I have one in the house for the studio, and I have one out on the road that does not look like this. It looks pretty beat up.
That's cool.
Been stomped on a lot.
Now, how did losing Dave reshape you personally and musically?
Personally, man, it was devastating, dude. It was a roller coaster ride of life since then. I mean, we're all good now. It's 25 years ago. But in the beginning there, especially like you say, like you go from zero to a million in a matter of weeks, and then you're on top of the world. Your band's doing great. You're having great shows. You started writing songs to the next record, and then you unfortunately passed away August 14th, 2002. So yeah, it's I think for anybody losing a friend or a best friend or a bandmate, it's a lot with any kind of loss. But I think as far as like musically, we write how we write, and then we had Jason Gong Jones come in and sing, and he sang, he had a powerful voice. He sang a little different. So you write how you feel, and then you kind of change a little bit to curtail the fit with the singing. So it does affect the sound a little bit. The same thing with Ryan McCombs when he came into the band after Jason Gong Jones. He had this boisterous tone, and it was fun writing songs with him. I felt like we can explore a lot more material with Ryan. He's got this big, strong voice, but also he's got a great singing voice, man. And then, we had parted ways for a little while with Ryan. So here we are with Jason Moreno for 3 records in 10 years, which was fun as well because he has a very higher range compared to any other singer we had. So, with the new different style of singing and tone, again, we write how we write, but it's, if you do something this way, it gives Jason Moreno that room to shine and do his thing. So I definitely would say that music was affected during that time. But now that Ryan McCombs is back in the band, I feel like we're kind of more back down to the core foundation of what, Drown and Pull to sound like. I wouldn't say that the 3 records with Jason Moreno were experimental, but it definitely, and there's some really heavy stuff on it. There's great songs. It was awesome working with him, of course. But I just feel, more natural at home with Ryan now and with the songs and the material that we're coming up with currently.
That's awesome. So your last album that I know of was back in 2022.
Yeah, Strike a Nerve.
So obviously you guys have been writing some new material. You got some new shit coming out, and you say you've been writing a lot in the studio there. How do you feel about the stuff that you're writing now compared to in the past?
I really love Strike a Nerve and where we were going in that direction, especially musically and stuff. We spent a lot of time on that record. We were going to put it out, then COVID happened. So I had another year to kind of reapproach everything and really hone in on all the small, finer stuff. Like when you put the earphones in, the headphones on, you can hear all the background stuff. I was able to do a lot of fun with that. The stuff with Ryan, though, man, it's you just feel it. Like it's like a natural, like this all of a sudden this rejuvenation of just, it's like bodies all over again. We just put out a song called Madness as a recent release. And before that was Revolution, the Final Eight Men. So it's it's some heavier stuff. It's jamming. I relate it to more to the Center record. I think it's just because of the band connection that we have. And we have 1 or 2 songs that are kind of lighter, like 37 stitches ish, if you will, like we did with Brian before. That all 4 of us were singing on, the one I was talking about earlier. That should be hopefully the next single. It's kind of we're still a plug and play kind of band. That a lot of program stuff. So there might be some background ear candy stuff, if you will, but I do still try to do all that on the guitar versus like keyboards and stuff like that. It might sound keyboardish or like programmed, if you will, but I'm doing all that stuff for real on the front side as much as I can.
Yeah. No, man.
Yeah, it's you can get that sound, that stuff without I mean, I still get that on the keys. I got them right here, no lie. But I'm looking forward to that. There's a lot more, I think, full band singing, if you will, on everything. The choruses are bigger. Even if it's a jamming song where there's just like gang stuff, you just hear a lot more of us coming through now. I think all of us, just especially the last 2 years, we've been touring like crazy. So I feel like we're all coming in pretty strong as far as playing, because we've been staying up on the chops and playing every night, and then singing wise as well. So it's strong songs. That's how I feel like they're all really strong. Strong songs.
That's good, man. So it sounds to me like you're back to like being more raw.
Yeah, it's definitely more raw. We kind of definitely more raw sound. That's a great way to describe it. Strong song.
Awesome.
Back to the raw.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's definitely cool. I like that.
Where are you based out of? I know you up north somewhere.
Albany, New York.
Oh, you up in Albany? Yeah, man.
Albany.
Strong song. Yeah, we were just in New York a couple weeks ago. I was able to bring my wife and my daughters. It was awesome because they went to on Central Park when we did the Jimmy Fallon show a few weeks ago with
Oh,
Offset.
how was that?
Dude, it was so sick, man. Everybody there is so nice. It's like they make you feel so comfortable because everybody on the whole floor, whether it's crew people putting the set together, they do this on the regular, and everybody was just nice. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Jimmy walks up, it's like, hey, like you've known this for years or something. He had a Dimebag story and everything. I was like, holy shit. They've done parodies of Bodies on the show before, so I knew they knew of us. And then also with Offset coming out with his new record, being a rap star. So we did a rap, we did a mix of Bodies with the rap song. And again, it happened naturally. It wasn't, a planned forced thing. They wanted to use a sample of Bodies in the song, which they did. And then they wanted to do a heavier version. Like just a couple days before the Jimmy Fallon show, they wanted to have us come on to be the backup band for him since we're doing kind of a collab. I thought they were just going to run tracks like they do. So it was freaking awesome, man. And you can see us up there again. Another thing that was on the fly and just having fun playing music together. So it was, I didn't think so much about TV and the Fallon show as much as I'm up there jamming with my dudes and we're having fun with it. So, strong song.
That's what it's all about, man. So has this already been aired or?
Yeah, that came out. That was 2 weeks ago. We were there in New York. Just look up the Jimmy Fallon and Drowning Pool, man. We got a lot of great response for it. Again, like I said, it was on the fly. We rehearsed. We got together on Sunday the day before, and then we did it on Monday was the show. It was like we're all in a band together for years with Offset and JID, the JID. Yeah, man, check that out if you got some time. It was a good performance. Strong song.
Well, so back to Strike a Nerve. Any tracks on there that you didn't feel got the recognition that they deserved?
Yeah, well, here, let me bust this out since it's right here. I know right where it's at. Just must have been fate that I saw it sitting here. So, yeah, Choke is a song on it that I really love that we did put out. But at the time that we put that particular single out, there was some kind of mix up with people that worked at the label and stuff. So we never got to put any kind of force behind the single Choke at all, which to me is a very Drowning Pool foundation type song with Jason Moreno record. There's another song called Mind Right that actually is getting a lot of play independently. Mind Right is probably the heaviest song we've done in the band, period, hands down. Pushing the limits. For us, because we're more of a hard rock, heavy metal band, this is like full metal, but Mind Right is definitely Southern metal, Pantera stylish, influence type the Drowning Pool way. That one is a good one that I really love on the record. Stay and Bleed is another one that's more of a personal song that from Jason Moreno and I. We had a little situation a year before we wrote the song. He had said a few things to me and I said a few things to him in front of people that we probably shouldn't have said it in front of. So eventually it came into a song called Stay and Bleed. And but I mean, again, it's just the art of writing about that certain situation that came through the music that I think we're both very happy with that song. It wasn't like a single or anything like that, but it's a jamming tune, man. The lyrics are great.
Well, I can't wait to hear some of your new stuff. I know you just mentioned you had a couple singles out.
Yeah, right now we have Revolution, the Final Amen, which is the first song we did with Ryan McCombs back after 13 years. We had a 13-year hiatus. I thought they said 3 months, 13 years. I don't remember what they said. I guess we landed on 13 years, but we're back together now.
Awesome.
Yeah, that one. And we have Madness, dude. Madness is freaking jamming too. That's a song that we talked about earlier that came to me like out of nowhere. It was like I was sitting on the couch and I had the guitar and I'm noodling around just doing some warm-ups and it just hit me like lyrically, musically, and I played all the way through it like it was meant to be, man. So it's another fun song that popped up just like that naturally.
So what helps you to keep the passion going, man? Because after playing for 30 years or whatever, you got to find things to keep you inspired, and ways to be continuously inspired and keep that love and that passion for music. And we talked about a little bit about, personal life can be distracting and, the business side of the music and shit like that totally just pulls you away from what you really started doing, the reason why you started playing in the first place was because of the love of it. So,
you love it, yeah.
How do you keep...
It's my go-to, man. That's when it's my, it's all up being on stage. And this is, I'm selling this from the heart, bro, straight up. Like I do love being in the driver's seat and there's business that has to get done. But when I'm on that stage and we're playing, there's no phone, there's no emails. It's just you and the guitar and the fans. And dude, again, we just did a whole bunch of shows over in Europe this year We have a lot of touring going on. And I love hanging out with other rock fans. And I love hearing other new music. I hear from other fans. Like, I love your band, but have you heard of these guys or these guys? That keeps me alive, man. Just that enjoying the rock show together. Like, not just me playing. Like, I love being at a rock show. Garbage Play last night here in town. I didn't make it out to that one, but usually when everybody comes through town, no matter what band it is, I mean, I'm almost that. But guys in my band make fun of me. I go out and see shows almost every night when I'm home off tour. It's like, you just got home. We've been gone for 2.5 years, and the first night I came back home was the show that Pantera played here in Dallas a couple of weeks ago. I went straight to the Pantera show, man, and then I came home and unpacked my bags.
Yeah, there's no way I would have missed that, dude.
But yeah,
That's
you can,
awesome,
man.
It's fucking awesome, man. I've read you're heavily working on a new full length album. Where's that at right now? Where's that stand right now? When do you guys see that coming?
Ryan's coming back in. We have a show on the 18th. We're doing a big show in Canton, the AMMA championship fight thing. Us and Lamb of God, which is freaking awesome. Yeah, I saw we flew back to Dallas last week, and they were on the same plane with us. And then it was like the next day, it's like, hey, you're playing a show with Lamb of God. I didn't know the day we flew with them until the next day. We're playing on the 18th in Canton. Yeah, it should be awesome, dude. Again, that's the thing. I get to play my show, but then I get to watch Lamb of God play.
It's kind of like a fellowship, man. You know, if you want to, if you want to fucking be huge, you go to a gym, you know, and with other people that have that similar goal. Or if you want to learn religion, you go to church, you know. But when it comes to music's like its own fellowship.
I love going to the shows and seeing everybody else's style and their art and what they're bringing to the table, of course.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I love that, you know, what I've realized is that a lot of these guys, everybody knows each other at some point, you know. And, you know, you guys kind of all supported each other, and, you know, it's definitely cool, man. Are you exploring new sonic territory or doubling down on the core Drowning Pool sound? I think we were talking about it being more raw.
Yeah, we're going a little bit more raw style with it and not getting too like overly done in politics. There's a lot of great stuff out here. There's a lot of stuff that has like programming and a lot of stuff going on in the background, which we kind of with Strike a Nerve we're doing. But it's just, you know, it seems like we get the point across and the idea across of what we're doing. I'm just keeping it, you know, it's one rhythm track on it, one straight solo track. I'm not going like, you know, overstacked on at least what the songs that we're working on recently. It does change per song and the idea that you're writing, but it just seems with Ryan, just like when he came here, man, I just grabbed a guitar, we just start rocking and it just starts happening. So it's not like we have to, you know, do the full stack thing. As far as if that's what you mean, you know, some people like double, triple, quadruple track stuff, guitars. I like to keep it pretty much, you know, personal, and you hear the notes, like just exactly what I'm playing, sending it to you, you know?
Can't wait to hear it, man. So any side projects or collaborations outside of Drowning Pool in the works? You mentioned possibly doing a solo album.
Yeah, at some point, I you know, time permitting, I mean, all things Drowning Pool right now. I'm talking later on, if it's like we take a, you know, break or something like that, and I have that kind of time on my hands, I would get into that. But there's a project I've been working on called As Above, So Below with my brother. We started that in 2012, and I have a whole full-length record written and done with them. I had a few little things left to do on it, but you know, with COVID happened, you know, everybody had to disband and do their own thing. And now that, you know, I'm back here, it's all things Drowning Pool, man. The last 2.5 years, it's just been go, go, go. So those guys kind of reformed into a band called Anemic. It's all the guys in that band. So they're doing their own stuff now. I would love to put that out at some point and have the time to play, because my brother sings. My brother and I sing in the band together. And my brother, Jacob Pierce. And the stuff he's doing now is great because they're writing new songs, doing their own thing. So I'd love that they're doing that, because they didn't want to play As Above, So Below shows unless I'm in the band with them playing it. They didn't want to get somebody to fill in, because, you know, working with a guitar player, Max, and he's amazing, and we play a lot of off each other. So it's fun with that, to have the two guitar player band to do two different things. I just don't have that kind of time at all right now. It's, you know, the focus is obviously, you know, with Drowning Pool. But that would be fun to finish that. I have a project called Electric Velvet with my wife that we do right now. We're doing a handful of cover tunes. When I have any kind of free time, you know, that's our date night. Let's go out and play some songs at the local club, you know, down the street. But we're working on, you know, we have original stuff as well. So I'm looking forward to getting that out, because my wife's got a very unique, awesome voice. And we sing together. So it's cool. We do a lot of Perfect Circle Tool covers as well. I think people tripped out on that. But singing that style of stuff together is really cool. So
yeah, that's awesome, man. My wife sings too. She's actually got a pretty good voice. Yeah. So it's nice to have that.
Hey, you got it, man. You know what's up.
I'm so grateful for you taking this time.
Yeah, you too, man.
Is there any advice that you would like to share with aspiring musicians? Uh,
Yeah.
that are up and coming, or people that want to pursue music.
Right. I would definitely say, just on a personal side of thing and music wise, to definitely, like, focus on your own stuff, focus on you and what you want to write and express. Like, don't worry about anybody else thinks, because it's your art and the way you do it. So do what you do, how you want to do it, for sure. And then when you get down into business, you definitely need people in play to help you out throughout the way, but you always need to check everything, everything. No matter how close they are to you. Because the second somebody, just in our situation, not for everybody's, but people will get over on you if they can. So, make sure you have the right people, the right team of people working with you to help you get to where you need to be. We're working on a great label now. We've had some nightmares with some other labels. So make sure you have the right point person with them that you have a good relationship with business wise. And, just have fun with it, man. It's all about fun. It's just rock and roll. So, don't take it too serious. Just enjoy it.
That's awesome advice. Thank you so much, CJ, for your time. I wish you the very best with your endeavors, and I'm looking forward to hearing your next album coming out.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm gonna get to work here.
Thank you. Yeah, take care, buddy.
All right, talk to you soon, man.
Bye.